If you feel like you are chasing clients and money all the time, like there's never enough, it feels like it's a grind, there's a chance that you don't have a hell yes offer. It's pretty probable that you don't.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Lead More podcast. I'm your host, John T. Meyer. On today's show, I sat down with my friend Jessica Miller. Jessica is also a coach like me, and Jessica helps entrepreneurs and business owners create what she calls their hell yes offer. And I love that. It's great, right? Like even the name of the offer is compelling and describes exactly what it's about. So in this episode, we break down what are the components of a hell yes offer. How do you know if you actually have one? And if you do, how do you spread the word about it? Or if you don't, how do you turn your offer into a hell yes offer? So Jessica's really great about finding clarity and focus, really getting down to the essence of what it is you're selling. We talk about when you have a hell yes offer, how you can sell one thing all the way up to $1 million in revenue in your business. If your offer is that good, your product or service is that amazing, your customers should be saying hell yes, and you should feel the hell yes because you're that passionate about it. So we talk about all that and more on this episode. And if you're thinking about trying to grow, if you're, maybe concerned about sales, don't like to think about sales, we just break down in a really clear way how to get that hell yes answer. And this is a hell yes listen to the Lead More podcast. So with that, let's go talk to Jessica Miller on the Lead More podcast. All right, friends, here we are, next episode of the Lead More podcast. I'm here with my friend, Jess Miller. How are you doing today, Jess?
I'm so good. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have you on the show. So we met recently through a shared mastermind, and I was learning about your sort of, I like the phrase someone used it. You're an income multiplier. You help people. You're a sales and growth strategist, and you've done that through a couple different versions. You have your own podcast. You are a coach, strategist. So I'm excited to have you on today to talk a little bit about what you call the hell yes offer, which is really compelling. So let's start right there. What is a hell yes offer?
Yeah. So the hell yes offer, I will go up on my soapbox and say for anyone who runs a business, if you don't have an offer people really want, if it is not hell yes for them and for you, you will constantly be chasing clients and money. So
Yeah.
at the epicenter of every awesome business that's thriving, that's making money, that feels, dare I say, easy, there is a hell yes offer at the center of that business that is really informing all of those other things that we come to know as part of our business, whether it's our marketing, where is our target market hanging out, who are they, what are they doing, what do we say to them? When you have a hell yes offer, it makes all of those other things in your business super clear and super easy.
Okay, so the idea that business could be easy, that's that's enticing. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Before we break down what is a hell yes offer, I was going to say, like, how do you know you have one? Is the answer that people are literally like lining up to buy your stuff?
Yes. So how do you know you have a hell yes offer? That's a really great question. It's a couple of things. Number one, if you feel like you are chasing clients and money all the time, like there's never enough, it feels like it's a grind, there's a chance that you don't have a hell yes offer. It's pretty probable that you don't.
Sure.
If you're someone who is at a place in your business where you're established and you have a proof of concept and your offer is selling, but you feel like you're working harder than ever or you're working twice as hard to create the same sales that you had last year, there's a good chance your offer is not hell yes. If you're in a place where things feel like they're flowing, you know who you're talking to, people are moving through that funnel and through that customer journey in a pretty easy, streamlined way, and things are just coming, they feel easeful, there's a good chance you probably have a hell yes offer.
Okay, those are good. Those are situations we probably have felt or kind of found ourselves in. So it sounds like you could probably also have a hell yes offer that maybe becomes not a hell yes offer, maybe over time.
Market changes. Yeah, there's a lot of different things that change. Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting. Okay, and so before we get into how to maybe improve or optimize your offer, let's figure out what are the elements of a hell yes offer. So let's break that down.
Yeah. So what is a hell yes offer? So it's really three main things. The first component of it is it needs to call in your people. I always say a hell yes offer is one of those things where it comes across the desk of your ideal client, whether they're scrolling through Instagram or you're standing on a stage and you're talking about it, and they are literally like, hell yes, that's me. It grabs those people. It's a very strong hook and it's magnetic to your ideal client. So, first and foremost, is it
Magnetic. I
calls
like
in
that
your
word.
people. Yeah. And the way that you call your people in with a magnetic hell yes offer is you own a specific problem for a specific person. When
Mm.
you own a problem, this is like in the words of Don Miller for all the people listening to this podcast who know him. If I could say anything awesome about Don, which is a lot of things, it was this idea that you need to own a problem. And so that hook when you call in your people related to your Hell Yes offer is that it is very problem centric. When you figure out that problem, what falls out of that often is who has it, right?
Mm.
When I'm saying like, getting your kids to school on time is a problem that you have, it starts to whittle down. It's not just anybody, right? And the more specific you get about it, maybe it's like getting your kids to school in the Boston area. Now you're even closer, or it's helping moms get their kids to school in the Boston area, right? It starts to get very specific. So it's problem focused and it is focused on a specific person. So it's a hook. It's a very strong problem identification. So that's the first piece.
Do
The
you think
second
you have to have had that problem yourself, or just
no,
more powerful if you have?
no. I think,
Okay.
it's not even necessarily more powerful if you have it. It is more powerful if you give a crap about it.
You
If
care.
you are
Yeah.
hell yes about it. So we're gonna get to that part of the hell yes
Okay.
offer,
Cool.
but you don't have to have had it. You need to be passionate about it and you need to know something about it. So
Okay.
it needs to be specific, but you don't have to necessarily have had it. The second part of it is there needs to be a compelling solution. So for me personally, I'm out there looking at offers all day long. I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, even businesses, and I
Yeah.
just see a lot of offers that are just not that exciting. They're not giving people something binge worthy. Like, if I could get my kids ready in 5 minutes in the morning with no crying, like, I am buying that offer, you know what I mean? Or
Totally.
bedtime,
Absolutely.
we're just talking about bedtime, like, get your kids to bedtime in a streamlined way by 8 p.m., like, I am in, let's do this,
Sign me up. Yeah.
right? So, it has to have a compelling solution, and that solution is your intellectual property. So, how do you solve that problem in a way that people really want and they're willing to pay for it? So, that's the
And
second
how
piece.
much of the solution in the offer phase is explained versus maybe just hinted at, or if you understand, like how much of the solution do you give them?
I think so for the offer, and depending on in which context you're actually talking about this offer or presenting the offer, sometimes a solution could just be very results focused. Like it's very simple and clear. Like we were just saying, like get your kids to bed by 8 o'clock in 5 easy steps every night, right? That's sort of the solution. Once people buy into that solution, then they care how you do it. But they're not even going to listen to you if you're
Sure.
not giving them something that they are hooked by or it's really compelling to them. So, if you're, like, doing a keynote, you'd probably wanna go into those hows. But if you're doing your one-liner or maybe something on social media, like a quick caption, maybe it's just that. Maybe it's just the
Yep.
problem solution in a very succinct way. So, it depends is really the answer, but you want it to be clear and compelling.
And I suppose that kind of goes along that line of like people buy with their hearts and then justify with their brains later, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
And people buy
So
differently too, right? Some people want all the information, but if someone said that to me and they were offering that offer for $49, like, I wouldn't care how, I'd be in. It's a low risk, like, I'm buying it. Here
take
we
my
go.
money. Yeah. Take my money.
Right.
Okay. So first you call in your people.
Mhm.
And then secondly, you have a compelling solution that shows that you know their problem.
Yes, and you know to solve it, and you're gonna
Okay.
give them the result they really want, like the bedtime routine in 5 easy steps that take 10 minutes kind of a thing.
Sure. Okay.
So it's very
Cool.
compelling. Yeah. And then the last piece, which is by far the most important piece, in my opinion, and it's like last but not least by any means, is you wanna infuse it with your hell yes. So
Mm.
this goes back to what you were asking about, John, which is we've all heard, maybe we haven't heard own a problem, but we've all heard calling your people, like talk to your ideal customer. We've all heard package your, solution up and put it in something that people can buy. But the thing that we often forget, and it is literally an afterthought, is our energy, our hell yes energy. It's going out there and finding the problem, the people, the solution, the framework that we are so excited about.
I like
Most
that.
people will look at the market first. They'll be like, "Oh, what problem do moms have?" Or "What's going on, in the SaaS world?" and you could come up with any offer. But when you are hell yes about it and you build from there, it is a whole different ballgame. It's taking all those superpowers you're talking about, all the stuff that lights you up, and figuring out, how do I solve people's problems with this thing I really care about? And once you build it, what happens when you do it like that is the people that care about it too come,
Hmm.
versus like, we need more widgets. I'm just going to do this thing. I could put it out there and sell it, but it's just not that exciting for you. And frankly, it's not really that exciting for anybody else too. So that hell yes offer, it very much starts with you and your energy, and it builds these pieces around it to really like throw gasoline on what is a well designed offer, but takes it to the next level of how you talk about it and who you talk about it with and how you're compelled around it.
And is there like a checklist on that number 3, or do you just kind of know it when you see it that somebody's infused their own hell yes?
Yeah, I think it could go either way. That's a great question. There's not necessarily a checklist, but what I tell people is first and foremost, like if there is something that lights you up, but you're not quite sure how to sell it or how to create an offer around it, I'm here to tell you, you could sell anything. I mean,
Sure.
literally, I've seen it all. So the first piece is like leaning into and being brave and trusting your intuition around the things that actually you are excited about. Because
Because you
there's
can't fake
really,
that part.
right, exactly. That's
Yeah.
really kind of a homing beam for you. It's your intuition speaking to it. So there's that. And then it's kind of going on a little sleuthing exercise. Like, we're not always looking for those things. I mean, as entrepreneurs, business can seem hard and it can be grinding. So we're not like following or feeling forward into all of that awesome hell yesness.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we just kind of glaze over it. But it's there
Totally.
if you
Yeah.
look for it.
Interesting. So maybe a better question is like, in what ways have you seen entrepreneurs really creatively inject or infused, I like your word,
Yeah.
their hell yesness? Like, do you see that through an awesome video ad, or do you see that through like sales copy, or just like what kind of ways do you be like, dang, that's so perfect for that unique person?
Yeah. You feel it.
Okay.
Like, every single one of us have been in the room or been in a space where someone who is so hell yes about their business, their offer, their clients. I mean, we've been there. I always joke with
Hmm.
people, it's like shoe sale energy, people are like, yes, they're, here's the thing. And the compulsion that comes from that energy is for people to tell everyone about it, right? You hear about a great book or a great thing that you're putting out there,
Sure.
right? You want to tell everybody. So there's that behavior along with that energetic piece that you see when it's coming across your desk. It's very energetic. But for you as the business owner, you feel it. And most people don't recognize it. You kind of have to get into the habit of watching what happens when I'm lit up about something. Like, what do I do? How do I react? How can I use my own body as a compass to find these things?
Yeah, I like that.
And then you kind of go out there scoping for it.
Yes, it's almost like if you're starting a new business or at least a new offer, you almost work
Mhm.
backwards, right? Like you kind of
Mhm.
like find your own hell yes, then build the solution, and then test whether or not it calls in the people
Yeah,
almost.
or if you're hell yes around something, like for you and I, we love helping people build businesses, right? We could talk about
Yeah.
it all day. We like
Hmm.
bonded over this, right? It's like how you also attract other people. So then it becomes, okay, if we know we want to do this, then the question becomes like, what problem in that sphere do we want to solve? For me, it was offers. I felt like that was so exciting if I could talk to somebody about that. I remember one of my coaches being like, okay, Jess, if you want to do hell yes offer, are you ready to like talk about offers all day
Yeah.
long? And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like, actually, yeah, I am. At first I was like, am I? But then I love it. It's such a part of who I am. So that became like, okay, what problems are people having if they're struggling with this offer? Okay, here's the problem. And the offer is going to be how I help them solve this problem. And then I just sort of fell forward into that. Like, how can I do this in a fun way? Meets my personality. Who are these clients? What do they like? And you just
Sure.
start getting really creative.
That's cool. So one of the things, like I suppose the naysayers would say, like if they feel like their offer is not working,
Yeah.
when is it the offer, and when is it sometimes like they just haven't found the first one. They haven't found the right person. They haven't found the market yet. Like the offer could be right. They're just speaking to the wrong person. Does that make sense?
Yes. Okay. So that's a great question. So, being that the person is so much part of the offer, if you felt like it was resonating with some people, but not resonating with other people, a lot of times people are talking to too many people and they're talking too vaguely. So, one of the biggest mistakes that I see with offers is that they're vague and they're not problem focused. It's like all women or,
Yeah.
right? Men or whoever. It's this general thing. And often you have to really get in, like, what is the problem and who has that specifically?
Okay.
So
That makes sense.
it can be a part of it. Now, from a growth perspective, like on the other side of that lens, if the offer is selling, but it's not selling enough, like you have proof of concept, people are buying it, but you want more of those people, it's
Hmm.
probably something in that client journey or that funnel that needs to be tightened up. So to your point, it could be like the messaging in the lead magnet is not connected to the offer, or the stuff
Sure.
you're
Yep.
saying on social media is not really on point. So it could be a growth problem or an offer problem. But we've all seen I was joking with someone because I came out of Fenway Park the other day. It was like 12 o'clock at night. And there's a
Nice.
little, like, truck. I don't even know what they were selling, like taquitos or something. There was a line. They could have been the worst taquitos in the world. But the
At
bottom line
that
is
night, at that point.
that's
Yeah.
right. They've got a hell yes offer. People are hungry. It's midnight. They're sold. So even if
Interesting.
the marketing, they're not even marketing, right? They've got the audience,
Just the
it's there, it's
location and the
clear.
time. Yep.
That's right. They're solving the problem and it's done. So you have to dissect it, but definitely your people are part of that offer. So depending on like where it's falling short, you either might have to tighten it up or maybe it's the journey, it's the actual funnel. It depends.
Okay. So talk to me maybe in your framework. I'm wondering probably number two, but like if somebody's offer is seems to be hell yes, people are lining up for it,
Yeah.
but maybe business isn't feeling easy, right? Like they can't keep up with the demand. Maybe their profit margins just aren't good. Like so something might be off on their offer structurally. It could be that you need to charge more or they need to figure out
Mhm.
how to deliver faster or which part of the framework is that number two? Do you kind of dig into because the solution is I suppose you
Yeah.
could have people saying yes to your offer, but maybe your solution isn't quite right.
Yes. It depends on what's happening, right? If people are coming so quickly, you've got a good problem. That's a great problem. Then the question
Yep.
is, how do you design that offer so that it meets the demand and the need for the people? So again, keeping that kind of hell yes theme all the way through is what are people coming for? What are they asking for? What do you need to do with the solution and how you deliver it in order to meet the demand and keep it hell yes? I'm sure that you've had this experience too, and so did I. You can put your framework in all different types of structures,
Yep.
right? I've done one-on-one, I've done group, I've done VIP days, I've done all of these things. Part of the way that I fell into those formats were by the people that were coming. So when it was earlier entrepreneurs and they needed to come up with a hell yes offer, groups made sense. There was a
Sure.
lot of sharing, right? It made sense, and that was very hell yes for them. But as those entrepreneurs started to grow and their revenue got higher and they had teams and time became a much more limited resource, those people, it was really more like VIP days. How do we get this one and done? Or we're going to build growth strategies and we're going to stay with you for a longer time. And so it
Sure.
started to shift. What made me pick, though, what different formats was what the people I wanted to work with. So
Sure.
now I've got all these people coming, and now I'm taking a pause and saying, okay, different people, different problems, kind of a similar but different solution. What's going to be hell yes for me?
Yeah,
And
so
that's where
you're
it got really
protecting that
fun.
number 3, you're making sure you kept your own. Because I
Yes.
suppose you can kind of fall out of love with your offer or fall out
Yes.
of love with the target customer.
Yes. And we've all been there
Interesting.
in some capacity when we're growing. Now all of a sudden you're like working harder than ever. You're running after people. You love your clients, but in a way you're like hating it because
Yeah,
it becomes unwieldy. It's not efficient anymore. And then it's not hell
interesting.
yes. So you have to shift.
Okay, so you were just you this is a perfect segue because you were kind of breaking down some of the different ways you've done your business,
Yeah.
group, one-on-one, VIP. So I want to hear your hell yes offer and we'll make sure it passes the checklist, which it should since you created the checklist.
Yeah.
So Jess, What is your hell yes offer?
Yeah. So my hell yes offer. When I started doing business coaching, I was focused on helping people create 10K in their business and beyond. So I had a group
Okay.
and we started working together and people were going quickly. This really took off during the pandemic because a lot of people needed help. They were struggling. All those things that we did that weren't really moving the needle for us, you couldn't do them anymore. So people came
Sure.
in and they started to grow. And I didn't realize that people were, like, growing so quickly and the same person that I was calling in was coming into this cohort that I was running every quarter, and it started to fracture. People started to be there were the people who were getting all these results and growing really
Mm,
fast, and then there were the newer people, and before you knew it, it's one group with different problems and a
sure.
different
Yep.
trajectory. And I was getting a lot of, great questions, but they were coming outside of the group. So I was, like, getting pinged with all these DMs, and of course, I love my clients, so you wanna help them. So now I'm
Help
spending
them.
all
Yeah.
this time on these DMs, and there's, like, all these questions, and half of the people are getting lost. I was like, "Okay, we need to shift this model here,
Change it up. Yep.
change it
Yep.
up." So but what fell out of that rocky time where I was falling out of Hell Yes, was that the offer became so clear. It was about the offer. And so I shifted my model, still in the group, to offers with people who were established. You couldn't be just starting out as an entrepreneur. You had to be an entrepreneur that had an offer and you wanted to basically optimize it.
Okay.
That was hell yes for me because if you know me at all, you know that I do not want to drag you off the starting line. I am not interested.
Sure.
If you're running, let's go. So I
Let's go
started doing
faster. Yeah.
that. And these people grew even faster because the offer became more targeted. And the way that I could help them optimize their offer, we weren't creating one from scratch. It was like, let's make your offer hell yes. We started focusing on that. And then that offer evolved into my consulting model now, which is helping people double their revenue with what they already have in their business,
Mm,
which circles around that offer that is growing but something is off with it. Sometimes it's their hell yes, sometimes it's that journey we were talking about, sometimes it's a piece of the offer. So, but it's really focused on how do you make more profits with what you already have in your business. And so that became my hell yes. And I love that because the people that are at that level, they are all in. Like they are hell yes, hell bent for glory. They can see they've been doing all the things and it's slowing them down, and this is about making that offer an asset, making it more powerful, making it repeatable so that the ROI is so much bigger on the back end, and doing less and getting a whole lot more, and that is,
cool.
like, music to my ears.
Yeah, we were talking about before the call how far you can take one hell yes offer, right? Like you
Yes.
should be able to, if you're a small business owner, a solopreneur, like you absolutely should be able to sell one thing. I believe up to $1 million,
Mhm.
or certainly $500,000 before. What we tend to do is add complexity, add
Yes.
services, add iterations, and we
Yep.
kind of muddy it up. So,
Mhm.
which one of the three, if you're for when you shift to the customer who already has the offer but maybe
Mhm.
needs to tweak, of the three in your framework, which one do you see is typically the one that might be off a little bit? What's the one that usually needs the work?
Out of those 3 pieces,
Yeah, or is it evenly distributed, or is it typically one piece that you find is the most maybe?
I would say, that's a great question. I would say it depends. I would The hell yes part is the thing that gets lost the most because people start to lean into what they already know, what they think is gonna work. It's not really that much fun anymore. The offer almost starts to take on a life of its own, and the business owner is they're just a byproduct, and their energy is a byproduct. And when you
Sure.
sit down and you ask people, "Okay, what do you if you could make this a hell yes, what would you do?" It is crazy the things that come out of their mouth, and it's so telling. The key, though, is because entrepreneurs are very creative, the danger people get into and this is kind of what you were alluding to before, where we're, like, adding complexity. People think that in order for them to take something that is working but isn't hell yes to a hell yes, they need to, like, break it apart.
Blow it all
Need to
up. Yeah.
add all this other stuff, but the gold is already in there. And so we really come in and try to help you leverage your creativity within the framework of your business that already exists so that you can 10x so much easier. And
Hmm.
we've gotten really good at finding those levers, but getting you psyched about it so that you're infusing that energy and that creativity into something that's already there so we can take it and optimize it versus breaking it and starting over, which is like complexity and headache times 100. No, hell yes there. You don't wanna do that.
I love that approach. So it's like, what would make I love that question. What would make it a hell yes for you? Because someone might say, yeah, my business is crushing it, but like I cannot do another Zoom call, right? I'm
Right.
just like I'm over Zoom. I don't want to do cohorts. I don't want to do this. I don't want to travel. And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, well, what if people traveled to you? And
Right,
what if it was an
exactly.
in-person workshop and it was a retreat or it was,
Mhm.
whatever? Like
Mhm.
these people might say no, but there's probably people out there that you can call in your people, as you said,
Yep.
that it will be a yes. And so I
Yeah.
like that, giving yourself permission to make it a hell yes makes a ton of sense.
Totally. And to your point earlier about scaling to $1,000,000 with an offer, I think one of the most important pieces is for people to understand what is optimized for them. Some people
Mm,
want to take a piece of their business that's working really well or they like, but they want it to only be $500,000. And that's great. So we want to get that thing running like smooth as butter. You're having a great time. You're bringing in that money. It's a great foundation. You're not worried about paying the bills, like all those things. We want to make that asset as strong as we can. And then if you wanna iterate on top of it, you wanna add something else, you wanna do something different, you can, but you're not breaking your business.
yeah,
You're really taking all that energy and effort and all the things you've already created, and you're making it work in a 10x way. That way your input can sometimes be the same or less, and the asset is producing at such a bigger level. And
I
that's when
like
it
that.
gets really fun because 'cause you're doing your thing, you're not bogged down, the money's coming in, clients are getting great results, and then all that creativity that you wanna, like, infuse into it even more, great, but you're not at odds, like, burning this thing out or burning yourself out.
So that sets me up well for my next question because I was curious, can a business have more than one hell yes offer?
Yeah,
Okay. I
absolutely,
wasn't sure if it was
absolutely.
like a pyramid type of thing where you have
No.
like one hell. Okay. Okay.
You want every one of your offers to be hell yes,
Yeah, absolutely.
right? And so you can build them on top of each other. The problem is people try to do it all at the same time.
Mm,
And in the process, they end up either breaking something or fracturing their energy and their money and their time, which actually, instead of catapulting your growth, which is what people think, right? If they want to make more money, add more offers, sell more things, talk to a even wider, range of people. But that's actually how you slow down,
yeah, that
even
makes
though
sense.
it's not logical, right?
Do you have like an evaluation or a checklist? Like how, if I'm kind of thinking about like, man, is my offer hell yes? How do I sort of grade my offer or break it down piece by piece?
Yes, we do. We actually offer an offer optimization scorecard. So
That's what I thought. Okay.
yeah, for many people listening to this, they're like, I don't know if my offer is hell yes. How do I figure this out? We actually created a very simple scorecard and it's on our website, jessicamillercoaching.com. People can just go, it's free. And you answer a series of quick questions and it will start to show you if your offer is optimized, if it's hell yes. And then it will tell you in different, it's got like 3 different pillars. So it's looking at all different things. It's looking at the positioning, it's looking at the math in your business, it's looking at the hell yes factors, all of it. And it will rate it, and then it will tell you immediately what you can do to make it more
Sweet.
of a hell yes. So we
I
go
love
through
that.
that, you get a report, and we offer people a call. If they wanna actually walk through the report with us, we're always happy to do that, so we can, like, dig into it with you. But yeah, that scorecard is awesome because it gives you a sense of where are you right now.
Cool. We'll put that in the show notes. Make sure that's linked up as well. Cool. Okay, this is really good stuff, and you got right to it. So I love it. So we're gonna make sure everyone listening, regardless of your size or if you're a leader, I mean, I suppose you could even have a hell yes offer that isn't even always involves a transaction, right? If it's joining a group or a team or
Yes.
a church, an organization, a movement, a
Mhm.
political group, right? Like there's still
Yes.
offers
That's
to an
correct.
audience in that context as
Mhm.
well. So, um, okay, so Jess, the question I always like to ask all the leaders that come on the show, and I maybe have an inclination, but what's your superpower? What's the thing you do better than everyone else?
Yeah, so I am from New York, if people haven't figured that out from this podcast. And I am really, really good at honing in, focusing in, and finding out where those levers are for you to grow. I can spot when you're in hell yes or not. And I can also just see where there might be those gaps where you're leaking clients and money and where you're frankly losing your joy in your business. And I'm a person who likes quick results. So I love to get in there with people and just get to it. And it's served me and I think my clients really well because we figure it out. We figure out how to fix it. And then you're off like leading your hell yes life with your hell yes business and
I love
everybody's
that.
happy.
Yeah, I suppose everything, body language, the words that we use, the
Yeah,
sort of the confidence that we have. I'm guessing there's a lot of indicators for when somebody is in their hell yes kind of moment.
totally. And then once you start to spot it in other people and you start to spot it in yourself, you will know just like a little barometer when you're hitting it.
That's
It's
great.
fascinating.
All right, tell us where we can follow you, keep up with your work online, Jess.
Yeah, so you can follow me at jessicamillercoaching.com. I'm also on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook under Jessica DiGuardi Miller, which is, we could put that in the show notes. It's a long name, but pretty much out there on the interwebs. And I love connecting with people. So I'd love to see anybody who listens to this podcast out there.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on, Jess. Really appreciate you sharing your hell yes framework. It was great.
Thank you for having me.
All right, friends, thanks for listening. That was our episode today with Jessica Miller and all about hell yes offers. I hope you feel inspired to create your hell yes offer or to turn your offer into a hell yes offer. And now you got the game plan of exactly how to do that. Whether you are an entrepreneur, you're a CEO, you're a leader, a coach, a team, a nonprofit, whatever it is, we all need that kind of movement. And it starts with that hell yes. So I hope you found that valuable. Remember, you can subscribe to the Lead More podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple. Leave us a review. Click subscribe. Tell us how much you'd love to hear it. Would love to hear which number episode is your favorite. We're well into the hundreds now. And we're also on video. So you can go to youtube.com/John T. Meyer _. Click subscribe. I've told you, I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs by the end of the year. I'm a little bit behind pace. I still have hope we can get there. But go to the YouTube and click subscribe. So as always, friends, take care and be well.